just like I think the UK probably is also in its own form of doom loop. And here's the loop. You have a number of immigrant Muslim mainly young men. So it's not all Muslims, but a cluster of them. They are completely radicalized either as Islamists or by gangs. They are shut out, or in my view, they've shut themselves out of the wider society.
Ayan Hirsi Ali completely destroyed Islam and exposed many things about its radicalism to the British people. Ayan Hirsi Ali, who has long been sounding the alarm about radical Islam, she discusses important issues we should be concerned about and what may lie ahead. Additionally, during the Q&A segment, she provides insightful answers and valuable advice for not only the UK, but the Western world as well. Have a watch.
That it says in the Quran and in the Hadith, wherever you find them, kill them. Then they get all the propaganda from the Middle East. Just to give you an idea, the Muslims that I talk about in Holland are not from Palestine. They're not from the Middle East. They're from North Africa. They're either from Morocco or from Turkey. And they are not first generation. They are second or third generation. So they have no proximity whatsoever with the conflict that's going on in Gaza. But it's what they hear in the mosque. They act on it.
Ayan Hirsi Ali's recent reflections on the violence in Amsterdam reveal a deeply concerning trend that she believes is emblematic of a broader crisis in Europe. She emphasizes that a significant number of young Muslim men in the city have become radicalized, either through extremist ideologies or gang influences. This isn't just a local issue. Hirsi Ali argues that it's part of a systemic problem that has been developing for at least 25 years. She points out that these young men, many of whom are second or third generation immigrants from North Africa, have either isolated themselves from mainstream society or have been systematically shut out. This isolation creates an environment where extremist views can flourish, often bolstered by a network of mosques and Islamic centers that promote radical ideologies. Hirsi Ali identifies groups like the Muslim Brotherhood as key players in this ongoing radicalization, suggesting that the rhetoric they disseminate has dire consequences for societal cohesion.
And I've seen the exact same thing in the UK, in France, in Germany, a condemnation of the terrorist attack or the riots or what have you. But the infrastructure of Hamasification continues to grow day by day. And demographically speaking, these constituencies that go to these infrastructures, they will grow through immigration, through their birth rates, and through these parallel societies. And that's what I mean by the doom loop. It's going to keep expanding. That's really the real challenge for Europe. Yeah.
The violence that erupted in Amsterdam, which she described as a pogrom against Jews, is a direct result of the anti-Semitic teachings these young men are exposed to in their communities. She argues that the sentiments driving this violence are not new. They are rooted in religious texts and local interpretations that incite hostility. Furthermore, Hirsi Ali warns about the demographic realities in Europe, noting that high birth rates within these communities, coupled with ongoing immigration, will only exacerbate the issues of radicalization and violence. What is particularly alarming for her is the apparent inaction from political leaders. While there are often strong condemnations of violence, she criticizes the lack of meaningful efforts to dismantle the infrastructures that support radical ideologies. This failure to act is not unique to the Netherlands. She sees similar patterns in countries like the UK and France, where radicalization and violence are also on the rise. Hirsi Ali calls for a more honest and open discourse about the challenges posed by radical Islam. She expresses her concerns about the term Islamism, suggesting that it may serve to soften the reality of the issues at hand by creating a linguistic buffer between radical elements and mainstream Islam. Through her comments, she urges her followers to recognize the urgency of addressing these problems head-on, advocating for a courageous and rational approach to the complex realities facing Europe today.
But I do it mainly to signal to Muslim audiences, I'm not criticizing you. It's about these basic, most pure and political forms of Islam. And so I'm happy to call it Islamism if it's practical to have the conversation.
Hirsi Ali argues that for nations to effectively identify and combat political Islamists, they must engage with the texts and ideas that inform these ideologies. This understanding allows them to differentiate between those who are politically motivated and those who are not. Ultimately, she advocates for a comprehensive approach that includes both political and theological knowledge, particularly in the context of security and governance. Ayan Hirsi Ali emphasizes the need for a deeper understanding of the ideological and theological foundations of radical movements within Islam. She argues that while politicians should focus on whether these ideologies challenge the rule of law, a comprehensive grasp of their theological aspects is essential for effective analysis and response. Hirsi Ali advocates for leaders in the Muslim world to redefine interpretations of Islam that promote peace and coexistence. Avoiding theological discussions can hinder efforts against extremism, making it crucial to understand the motivations behind groups like the Muslim Brotherhood. Ultimately, she envisions a reformation within Islam that aligns with modern values of tolerance, driven by informed leadership and open dialogue.